It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hello, I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman this week on the Forum, and thanks for joining us. Our guest this week is April Green from the Family Support Group, or the Autism Family Support Group. I want to thank you for coming by today.
Absolutely.
The show brought to you by Hayes Med. And what we wanted to bring you by today was maybe inform people, let people know a little bit about autism. You know, you hear about that a lot of times in the news, or you hear about that when you read articles. Maybe you're in a doctor's office and you see some kind of magazine article about it. Really what we want to do today maybe is help define that a little bit, because there's, I guess, different levels and different categories of this, from extreme to mild cases. Maybe if you want to explain that a little bit to us.
Sure. Well, first of all, one of the sayings I like to tell people is, when you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism, because it's so varied. And that's kind of what makes it fun for me, is the stories are all so different. When I meet people that say, I have a child with autism, or somebody has a child with autism or something, the stories are all different. But autism itself is a developmental disorder, and it affects social communication and a lot of times behavior issues. So, like my son, for example, he didn't start really talking until he was 5, and that was the one thing that triggered us to get him evaluated, was his communication.
Yeah, that's something that I was going to ask you. When do you really detect it? And I guess it depends on each case, really, because you said everybody is different. So each kid is different. Did you suspect something, though, you said before 5?
Honestly, he was our first.
Okay.
So, and I wasn't around a whole lot of kids, so it being our first, we were just going right along, thanks to, if I may, Early Childhood Connections. They do evaluations every 6 months, and they did evaluation at 2, and she's like, well, my only concern is his communication levels. And the Hayes Area Children's Center has a free evaluation. I think they still do, at least once a month, more in-depth evaluation. And so we did that, and it was at that point, we decided to go ahead with speech therapy and then some occupational therapy as well. And it's amazing, you know, this is just our kiddo and this is how he is, but it's amazing the things he was lacking in. And so when we were diagnosed at 2.5 with autism, we were honestly relieved, because we now knew why Riley wasn't talking. You know, we worked all summer just to get him to say cookies or bubble, which are their favorite things. You know, what little kid doesn't like cookies and bubbles? But to get him to say that, it was just like pulling teeth. And then when we finally got the diagnosis, it was just a huge relief, because we knew what we needed to do. We knew that, you know, okay, there's a system, there's, you know, a road to walk on, as opposed to wandering.
I would think that once you have that, then the trigger sets in, and it's like, okay, now we know, now we can start reading articles about it.
Exactly. We
can go ahead and find support groups and maybe work our way down that new path.
Right, exactly.
And so that's something. And now you've been in Hayes this whole time with your child. Your child going to USD 49 schools, and they seem to be helping you along the way.
Thus far, every teacher, para, speech path, OT person we've come across has been amazing. Just really, really great. Easy to talk to, and you know, the focal point is, and Riley helps. He's such an amazing kid anyway, and I think that's another thing that some might find odd about our family, at least, is that when Riley comes to a point where he needs to struggle and he needs to push himself, a new teacher, a new school, a new subject, the little tiny steps that he makes are, to what, can I say, normal trait kiddos, are big, huge for us. You know, potty training, you know, learning to read and write, he's doing multiplication, for crying out loud, you know, and even the tiniest thing of trying new foods, you know. So all of that is just, and the wonderful staff at USD 49 and the help have just really work together with us and Riley to help him achieve the goals that
And how
he's
old
got.
is Riley?
Riley is 12.
12 years old.
So he's in 6th grade.
Wow, so he's been through the system already.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
Right. Well, we're glad you came in to talk to us a little bit and enlighten us a little bit about autism. What we wanted to do is talk to you a little bit more about it. And what I mean by that is, in the second half of the show, we're going to take a break here, but in the second half of the show, let's talk about the support group that you're part of.
Sure.
And we can talk to people and let them know where they can go and what they can find out during the support group.
Sure,
So and when you meet too.
Absolutely.
So again, our guest today is April Green, the family support or the autism family support group here locally, and we'll talk to her more about that, and when they meet, might give you some more information. That's coming up after this from Hayes Med.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.
The most exciting yards in football. It's NFL Red Zone from NFL Network. Get every touchdown from every game, every Sunday afternoon. And football doesn't stop on NFL Network. It goes all week.
We're covering it like crazy.
Get NFL Red Zone from NFL Network today.
Add NFL Red Zone so you can watch all the game-defining yards in football. Call us at 877-61-EAGLE today.
Hello and welcome back to the Forum. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman this week. The Forum brought to you by Hayes Med. By the way, if you've got any guest ideas, Gary would love to hear from you. Just email him at gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. That's gary.shorman@eaglecom.net for future guests here on the Forum. Our guest today, April Green from the Family or the Autism Family Support Group. I always forget that autism part in there.
Yeah.
But your group meets, what, once a month?
We meet once a month, the second Tuesday of every month.
Now, how long have you been part of this group?
I started the group. When Riley was diagnosed 12 years ago, there was a wonderful woman here, a group of women that had the autism group, and I think there was a couple more, but in recent years there hasn't been one. And so I talked to a couple moms, and yeah, that would be great, let me know. And so I finally said, okay, we're doing it. And so I got it together and we started, our first meeting was in June, and we've had one ever.
Is there a certain location you meet, or is it you rotate on houses or families' houses?
No, right now we are at 1310 Walnut at the Reed Center at DSNWK. The west door there on Walnut. And right now we're fitting in there fine. We have a wonderful room where the parents meet, and then I've got a wonderful group of college students that watch the kiddos for us. I really felt that it was important to have child care provided, because the parents, it's stressful. It's really, as much as we love our children, but it can be very stressful. So I wanted a stress-free, relaxing, the kids can go up and play, or they can sit with mom and dad. It doesn't matter. But I do have childcare for the parents to have a little bit of a break.
So it's pretty casual.
It's really casual.
And you just share stories? Is that kind of what you do in the
group?
Well,
I try and have a main topic. The first meeting we talked about resources around town, because oh, I had no idea that this was here, or oh, I had no idea that, how do I get in touch with this person, or, like Riley is on a waiver, and, how do I even start there, and how do, my son has a PA, where do you get that, and so we talked about resources, and our second one was a little bit about summer activities and things like that, but then we always have the open discussion of potty training, of food, because those are two of the biggest issues of communication, how to help your kid communicate, and stuff, all kinds of stuff like that.
And again, you said that in the first part of the show, every kid has a different level. You never know what
you
you're
never know,
gonna get.
and what works for this kiddo doesn't work for this kiddo. And I think that's what I really love about this group is we're all parents. It's not corporate led or anything like that. It's parents led, and I have the main topic just so we have something to talk about. But if a parent is really struggling with something, then we really
Can drift off to something else, yeah.
we really talk about that. Like when one mom had, she didn't know if her daughter had autism or not because she's so young, but she's not talking. And so, you know, with my son, we used sign language. I made a picture book for him. I took pictures of his items that he used, his drink cup, his snacks, and all kinds of things like that. And then he used that to tell me what he wanted. So we suggested that to her, and let's see, sign, pictures, and verbal, of course. And this last month, she said that, you know, I think she used pictures. She was starting to use the pictures, and that really, she said, it's amazing how more she's communicating, even though she has pictures.
So it makes you feel good as a support group person too, that you've been able to help somebody.
Exactly, absolutely, absolutely. And then, you know, there's like I said before, it's kind of fun to sit around and share ideas of, well, if you know, have you tried this or have you tried that? And, you know, like in November, our subject will be food because of Thanksgiving coming up, and so we'll be talking about food is a big issue. Some kids will only eat, I heard on the radio, some kiddo would only eat toast for breakfast. That was it, all the time, every day, all day, 360. That was the only breakfast that child would eat, would be toast. And so just kind of ideas of how to introduce your kids to new foods, or if it's okay that they're only eating this, and so some nutritional ideas.
And it's a
as
no-cost support group?
No cost, absolutely not.
And you meet, how often do you meet?
We meet once a month.
Once a month, okay.
Second Tuesday of every month at 6:30 at the moment.
So about an hour long? With some days maybe longer.
Sometimes it's longer. I really tried to, because I know, you know, you want to get your kids home and just relax and stuff like that. But if people want to stay and chit chat, I'm all about staying and chit chatting.
And if people need to find out more information, you do have a Facebook page.
I do have a Facebook page. It's just Autism Support Group Hayes. April Green, I'm also on the Facebook page. I'm going to hopefully get some flyers out for October, for November, because we're in October. So for November, I'll start getting some flyers out and stuff like that.
And this is almost a regional, so it's not just Hayes. If somebody's from other towns,
absolutely,
other communities, they can come.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming in today and being our guest, and hopefully you get some more questions and comments on your Facebook page, or through an email, or just in person here at the store.
Yes,
so
thank you.
You know, just in a lightning support group.
Yes.
So it again is the Autism Support Group, and again, April Green, who kind of re-energized the whole thing out here in the Hayes area here recently. Want to thank her for coming in and being our guest today. Again, this is The Forum. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman this week. The show is brought to you by Hayes Med. Thanks for being with us today.
It's a beautiful day in our super high-speed internet great customer service neighborhood. Like you, this is where we live. In fact, our company is employee-owned, so it's our goal to improve the quality of life for everyone in our community by delivering faster, more reliable internet, clearer, more feature-laden phone service, quality TV channels, all with the level of customer service you'd expect from people who are your neighbors. Eagle Communications. Our community connected.